Right now at 4:30, Donald Trump, leading Republican candidate for the 2024 presidential nomination, is in more legal peril, named a target in an investigation by the Department of Justice.
It's all over his mishandling of classified documents found at his Florida home. Trump's lawyers met this week with a special counsel, pointing to the likelihood that an indictment could happen soon. But what exactly does that mean for the former president, who's now facing his second indictment this year? Queen City News Chief Legal Analyst Khalif Rhodes joins us now in the studio.
Yeah, so Khalif, right now, what do we know about this investigation? A lot of people say this could be the most serious yet.
What we know for sure is that it's the president's or former president's legal troubles have gotten bigger, obviously. And so with this indictment, it gives him what you have the indictment from Manhattan, where you had the 34 charges. This letter, this investigation letter, says that a potential indictment is down the road, that it's coming. That's what it's let his legal team know. And also it lets us know that they're not just investigating the folks on former president's team, but they're investigating the former president's actions. And so this is extremely serious. You can add that to what's going on in Georgia. You can add that to the other case that he has in New York. And so there's a number of mounting legal troubles for the former president that obviously would keep his mind, I would think, distracted from running. But this is former President Trump. So I don't think so.
Yeah, and a grand jury, too, Khalif, is in the process of hearing from Trump's allies, too, and that includes Mark Meadows. What's his role in all of this?
Well, I mean, they've been having these hearings and these investigations for the last few months. And so obviously they're talking to senior aides, and being his former chief of staff, you'd probably want to talk to him. He'd give a mindset of what former President Trump was thinking about his last few weeks and what he thought about when he left out of office. But Mark Meadows is no stranger to investigations. They called him to speak at the January 6 hearings. He declined. They recently in South Carolina told him that he has to go and speak in Georgia. And now he's talking in this investigation here in Florida. And so I think Mark Meadows can offer a lot. I'm probably not the only one in the country that thinks so. That's why they keep asking him to come in and talk into investigations.
Yeah, a lot of people keep talking about whether he has limited immunity or something like that. So we just have to wait to see if this indictment does come down or when. But one of the things, too, is that this presents some legal or some real opportunities or problems here as the presidential candidates going forward, but opportunities for other candidates, though.
I think it's definitely opportunities and hurdles. I mean, typically if someone has bad news and you're running against them, you're going to pounce on it. But if you're the party that big government's bad, government overreaches, it's really hard for you to say that the government that's trying to reach for the former president isn't overreaching. And so you have a mixed bag of responses. You got Governor DeSantis back in March saying, we will not participate in the state of Florida with helping with extradition, and this is un-American. And then last night you had Vice President or former Vice President Pence. He says that, listen, I don't want to see an indictment for the former president. It would further divide the country. And so typically you see folks jump on it, and they're not. They're trying to find a way to dance around the question I think everyone wants to hear is, do you want Trump to run? And they want to say no, but their politics is making them say,
you see Christie and Pence coming out a little harsher than they normally would,
right,
trying to seize on an opportunity.
They are, but it's a delicate dance. If your base is saying that you don't want big government, you don't want them reaching into your pockets, you don't want them reaching for folks that they shouldn't, it's got to be a delicate, really, really soft balance. And all it does is enrage Trump's base. After the last indictment, he went up 6 points.
Right.
And so I'd expect if there was an indictment, he'll be happy.
Well, and speaking of that, we already know that he has one indictment on him. You were with us, so when that happened, we were up here for, I think, about 3 hours. But he pleaded not guilty there. So if this happens again, does that really change anything?
Well, I know for sure that those 34 charges, to most folks, that would make you say, I'm not going to work, let alone running for president. However, President Trump has been uncharacteristic in everything that he's done. And so I don't think that it changes his approach politically. In terms of the legal process, it probably makes it harder for him to travel around the country to all these places. And obviously, his legal bills have mounted up. But if you're a billionaire, I don't think that you're worried about paying legal fees. But if another indictment rolls out, I do think it adds problems. Specifically, when we talked about the New York case before, we said that he probably wouldn't go to prison because it would be his first offense. Well, if you get another conviction, that you're probably looking at real prison time. And so that's something that we'll have to obviously follow, and that's way further down the line. But I don't think it impacts him. So I think we have time for President Trump to still maneuver his way politically and legally.
One big distraction, also a lot of mental stress to go
Yes.
through these types of things. Khalif Rhodes, our chief legal expert, thanks for joining us.